talk about genocide happening in China, Nanjing Massacre. During the next several minutes, I will talk about what happened before Nanjing Massacre, what happened during Nanjing Massacre, and what happened after Nanjing Massacre. This atrocity was happened in the former capital of the Republic of China, in Nanjing, as known as Nanking. After Macro Polo Bridge incident, the Japanese army started to launch a full-scale invasion of China, and which is also the symbol of the Second Sino, which was also the symbol of the beginning of the Second Sino-Japanese War. Also, the Chinese people call the anti-Japanese War. After China and Japan had a war officially, Japanese attacked Shanghai and finally occupied the city. During this event, many refugees escaped from the city and go to somewhere place, and most of them went to Nanjing. On November 16, 1937, there were 15 Westerners. The first one, including George Thatch, who is a missionary, and the second one is Minnie Wertrin, who is the dean of Jining Women's College, and the third one is John Rick, and also other people. These 15 Westerners united together and to create a safety zone to protect those Chinese refugees and civilians during the Nanjing Massacre. After Shanghai had fallen, Japanese troops towards Shanghai from 3 directions. In December 17th, Shanghai, the Japanese had broken into the city, which means Shanghai had lost, and also we could see the Nanjing Massacre start slowly. Even though safety zone was established, there are still thousands of Chinese civilians had not made it into the safety zone. So after the Japanese soldier had broken into the city, they shoot and stab everyone they saw on the street or in the alley. It was only the beginning of this disaster. Here's the news from the time, which shows there was 2 Japanese officials compete for who killed 100 Chinese people's head first. However, there was a interesting news that the new Japanese defense minister still denies today for it happened in this August 4th. Women whether old or young would likely to be raped by those Japanese soldiers. Therefore, in order to escape from this tragedy, they disguise themselves from any possible ways. Some of them cutting their hairs or blackening their faces and wearing men or boys' clothing. And some of them, they want to and some of them went to the Jining Women's School to find the protection. However, not everyone can be rescued. After Nanjing had lost, thousands of Japanese soldiers threw away their uniforms, equipment, and dressed in civilians' clothes and entered into the safety zone. Therefore, Japanese soldiers started to pick up from Chinese civilians from the safety zone and to kill them. And almost every day, there are thousands of Chinese civilians were killed. And these pictures record the scene from that time. Those Japanese soldiers cut their heads and stab them and shoot them. Also, after they died, the Japanese soldiers heap them up, heap those crops into a ditch, or keep those crops beside the river and cut off their heads, hang on dead man. During the last 3 decades of the Nanjing Massacre, there are still fierce arguments about whether the massacre happened or not in Japan. One side claims that Japan as a nation, they should acknowledge its past and apologize for wrongdoing thing. However, another part just deny it happened. However, even though there are some Japanese admit that it happened, but they don't think that they are doing wrong. They still think they did the right things. So at last, the Nanjing Massacre is not the only tragedy happening in the world. Also, there are other tragedies happens, just like you mentioned before. And however, not every countries and people like China have the chance to speak up and to deem what other countries do to their people and their countries, because they do not have enough political or economic power in the globalized world. So, if the genocide happened in those poor countries or undeveloped countries, there are not many people in the world would talk about those events and take those events seriously. Therefore, I think no matter which big countries did those terrible things to those people, they all should be censured by the other countries in the world, like by implementing some diplomatic policy to punish them, and which can help them preventing from the genocide happening again in other places. Thank you.
So,
it lasted 6 weeks.
Why Japanese did this to Chinese people?
Because they want to conquer China. And
they wanted the land?
Yes.
They want the whole China.
They think if they killed so many people, they can cause a fear among Chinese people. Yes.
Okay.
To take a 10-minute